Good morning, everyone. I hope you are doing well. And essentially, what we're trying to do here is just kind of reviewing and going over the major assignment live script. I'm not going to read through this document verbatim, just because obviously you can skim it through yourself and kind of get a sense of the purpose and why I'm asking you to do what you're doing. But I did want to go over a few details to allay some of your questions because this is a unit that is a little bit ambiguous, and so I wanted to kind of clarify a few things. So I did talk a little bit before in my previous video about just the general purpose of this unit. It really should not be aggravating your sense of senioritis. It should be something that hopefully is a fun endeavor to spend time pursuing. But I did want to go over kind of the final product and what that should look like. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and read this short paragraph right here, as you can see on the screen, and just kind of do a little bit of talking about some of the story options that you guys have. All right, so in terms of the final product, whichever story option you end up selecting from the list below, what I'm asking you to do is to create a 3 to 5 minute digital presentation and to share it with your classmates at the end of the year. You want to make your content come alive with your delivery, and if at all possible, include multimedia in terms of pictures. You'll see several student models that have been created in previous years, how the use of multimedia kind of adds to the it just kind of enhances the final product at the end. But certainly, as everybody is in a different space with this quarantine and with accessibility being an issue, I'm really not going to be evaluating your life script based on how sexy you can make your movie or how proficient you are at iMovie or anything like that. Really, it's about the message behind what you create. So the one requirement that I do have is that you don't want to hide behind your camera. And so, what I'm asking you to do in whichever story option you end up focusing on, you must be talking to us for at least a minute of your presentation. And I know that can seem a little bit scary, but really the purpose of that is to really create this space of intimacy between you and your classmates digitally, if at all possible, in this format. Okay, so I do want to go over the 3 different story options before we discuss grading and all of those things. I did put a little kind of caveat here for your class because of the coronavirus and school shutdown. Originally, this unit was mostly focused on this one option of exploring conflict, which you can still do. A majority of the models that you will watch throughout this unit do kind of address this particular prompt, but you'll notice that they all kind of present it in different ways. And so you're more than welcome to kind of continue going down that traditional pathway. But I did feel it was important to give you guys other opportunities to figure out how you wanted to end your year and how you wanted to kind of leave your legacy here at Los Altos, as explained earlier. So this first option really is focused on, and again, I'm just going to kind of paraphrase the writing here. It's really choosing one significant conflict from your life, something that has deep meaning for you, a conflict that maybe you've been grappling with for some time, and to do some reflection and writing and digging through that experience, and to kind of articulate what you have taken away from your time wrestling with that conflict. That could be one way to, kind of begin thinking about your life script. Option 2 would be more of a validation or graduation speech. And so this doesn't necessarily need to be like the traditional style of graduation speeches. Like, you don't necessarily need to pretend you're at the podium at graduation, speaking to the class of 2020. You can do that. Some students have taken this opportunity to do that. But this can be something that is just much more, nuanced and something more specific to your world. It can be a graduation speech addressing an individual, or I've had great graduation speeches kind of addressing parts of that individual student. They're speaking to their past self, or, an aspect of their self that they either want to leave behind or share some sort of message. So that is your second option, is to kind of take that approach. The third option is kind of bringing back the Emersonian Gift 2.0 this time around. Obviously, I won't be assigning you guys Emersonian Gift partners, but kind of looking at really the purpose behind that unit and the philosophy behind that unit of just really taking an opportunity to do something profoundly powerful and special for somebody or somebodies, is just something that is quite rare, I guess. And so you can take this opportunity to focus your life script on doing something profoundly kind for somebody of your choice, or a group of people, rather. The final presentation, as is outlined in the paragraph, should include a specific story or stories that inspired whatever it is that you create. It really should be something. It's not just coming up with a playlist for your best friend or whatever, because you're not going to be seeing each other. If you're going to choose this option, it really should be for somebody in particular, and the purpose behind that gift should be pardon the repetition, just very purposeful, beyond just wanting to do something nice. Does that make sense? And so really what the 3 to 5 minute presentation will be is, you mostly kind of telling the story behind that person and the gift. It's a little bit more elaborate than what we did for our own Emersonian gifts earlier on in the school year. And then documenting the process of, creating the gift, and then, the presentation. If there is a presentation, certainly there's some limitations, of course, with social distancing and whatnot. So we have to kind of be creative with that. If your gift is not something that's creative, that's presentable in person, that's perfectly okay. As long as kind of the articulation of the reason behind the gift is detailed and specific and solid. I do want to give you a fourth option, and that's another approach of your choice. Kind of thinking about the main purpose of this last unit is to leave behind a legacy that is true to you. To end this year, this last assignment, by doing something that is going to be profoundly meaningful. I do want to kind of give you the option to do that however you see fit. However, if you do select this kind of open-ended option, please do reach out to me first to get approval. I'm pretty open and flexible here. I really want you to spend the last 7 weeks taking this opportunity to do something that's going to push yourself, yes, but also something where you feel like at the end of this high school experience, you kind of ended with this kind of meaningful thing, right? So, as I said earlier, regarding grading, right now we're still kind of waiting on what the grading parameters will be from the district. And so until then, this is kind of my general philosophy is, as I said earlier, not everybody has access to, video makers and whatnot. So your presentation is going to be shared with the entire class. That's going to be kind of the last assignment of the year during the last couple of weeks of school. We're going to post all of our videos on a common document, and then take some time, watching all of them, and then just kind of giving affirmations and comments, which is kind of a really cool way, I think, given some of the limitations that we're working with, to end the school year, and to kind of be able to see our faces and hear our stories one last time. And so knowing that, obviously, if you can include multimedia, music, and all the stuff that, bells and whistles and stuff like that, you are free to do so. But I want to emphasize that is definitely not a requirement. Most of the evaluation and grading will be based on the quality of your story and kind of the purpose and reason behind what you're doing. And so don't worry if you don't have a fancy iMac or whatever it is that can do all the video editing. I did provide some resources for you in terms of these two resources are places that if you can download the app, it's pretty user friendly. I have had students use these two these two apps before, and they found them really helpful. And so this could be an opportunity for you to play around with those things, but again, it's certainly not a total requirement. Here's kind of the grading specifics so far. It's 100 major assignment points, but I'm hoping that you do this beyond, just wanting to get a grade. I mean, ultimately, grades are grades. They're certainly important, but I'm hoping that, especially given the circumstances, that you use this as an opportunity to do something beyond, how I think you did, I guess. And so this is going to be due on the 26th at 11:59. Again, I'll give you more instructions throughout the next several weeks in terms of how to post and all those things, and brainstorming and writing drafts and all of that. It won't be super cumbersome. My intention is not to overload you guys right now, but to kind of give you enough support so that you can kind of keep pace for this kind of final submission. And so last thing on this document is just kind of going over the rubric. You guys can kind of take a look at this yourself. But anyway, this is a very open-ended assignment, but I'm hoping that you take this as an opportunity to do something that's real and meaningful. And again, to kind of reiterate what I said on the very first day of school, I think the more that you are willing to put yourself out there, the more you're willing to risk, the more valuable experiences will be for this assignment, and certainly with just life in general, right? And so let me know if you have any questions about or as they come up throughout this unit, and I'm happy to kind of touch base with you guys online. And so otherwise, I hope everybody's having a wonderful day, and take care.